Hey everybody, it's Colleen, and today I'm going to be doing my Everything Leads to You book review. So as some of you know, I've been putting this book off for a couple months now, and I am so regretting that. What I'm finding lately is that a lot of these books I'm forcing myself to read because I bought them a while ago and I've been putting off are just blowing my mind. Like this and Ask the Passengers, I've been putting off for a year now, and both of those have become two of my favorite contemporaries of all time. The story follows this girl named Emmy. She's living in LA. She is just finishing up her senior year of high school. Her older brother Toby works for his production company. He scouts locations for different movie scenes, and while he's going to be away for about a month or so during the summer, he's letting Emmy and her friend Charlotte house sit for him pretty much, but with one stipulation. They have to make something amazing happen. I'm not going to tell you what that awesome thing is because it's pretty cool. And while Charlotte is the kind of person that you call when you need something done and organized, sort of like a personal assistant who makes everything happen, Emmy's job as a production designer is very similar to a set designer's. A set designer is the person that would build the scaffolding and the bare bones of a set, all the technical stuff and the artistic aspect of it. But, well, not really. Emmy's job is really artistic, too. Emmy's job is to fill the sets with furniture and, make them come alive and feel like you're actually in this place as opposed to, on a film lot. And that's really cool because she ends up going to a lot of estate sales and garage sales and everything on weekends and just finding these perfect pieces until, it's just unrecognizable. It's not just, plaster and wallpaper anymore. It's a room. It's a home. So at the beginning of the novel, Emmy and Charlotte are at an estate sale for one of Emmy and Toby's favorite movie stars of all time. He's died. His name is Clyde Johnson. He ended up taking an old vinyl record, and in it is this sort of in the case of my death, please deliver sort of note. And it's to Clyde Johnson's secret daughter. So that really opens up the rest of the novel. It kicks off with this great little mystery, wait, Clyde Johnson has a secret daughter? And having to find her based on just a name and this old address that hasn't been used since the 90s. And then something else happens pretty quickly that changes the whole course of this mystery. But I loved the whole having to do detective work in the library aspect of this because digital records weren't really a thing in the 90s, so they have to go through newspaper headlines and obituaries and just to find the information that they need, and it's really cool like that. I they had to go kind of old school sleuth to solve this. All of this happens in the first 50 or so pages, so that's not really a spoiler because there's so much more meat to the story that I can't tell you. I kind of fell in love with Emmy a lot. She's such a passionate person. It was just impossible not to get excited with her about things. She's fiercely loyal to her family and to Charlotte. She's a huge romantic, unapologetically so. She is extremely dedicated to her work, although maybe a little bit too passionate at times. She had been spending months and months and months just hunting garage sales and estate sales for this perfect couch for one single scene in a movie, and she finally finds it. And her boss just kind of changes it out on a whim, the next day because she found a better one. And she doesn't even consult Emmy, and Emmy just flat out starts yelling at her. And pro tip, guys, just don't yell at your boss, especially when you're just an intern. That's not a good choice. Like I said, Emmy is a huge romantic. She's got this long-time on-again, off-again girlfriend named Morgan that we meet. She's a little bit older. She's very much an artistic free spirit who can't be tied down. So when the novel opens, Morgan has just broken up with Emmy for the 6th time, and she's convinced it's going to be the last time, but Emmy's still kind of holding on to some hope because it's her first love, and she doesn't know if she can really get over Morgan. So a lot of this novel is her getting over Morgan and finding love with a new person, and again, I'm not gonna say who it is, but it was super cute, guys. This was just such a great book because it was very much a coming-of-age novel. It was learning about, loving your family and your friends, but especially loving yourself and, learning some self-respect. And also just a really great romantic plot for some LGBTQ characters. Another great aspect of this novel was getting to see the behind the scenes of movie making. I was a theater techie in high school. I used to help decorate sets and build and find props to be used in shows, and that was so much fun. Reading this gave me this great sense of nostalgia, and it was so engaging to just listen to Emmy and Charlotte talk about that stuff just off the cuff and watching them work. You don't even have to know anything about movie making to find this interesting, and even if you are super into that stuff, you're going to be really pleased just by reading the jargon and knowing exactly what they're talking about, but you don't have to know anything about it to still get it, to still be really entertained. Okay, little rant. I love this. I love it so much this is an LGBTQ book, and that it's not about her coming out. We're never made to kind of take a second and step back and be oh wait, she's gay, let's talk about the struggle of being gay, because yes, it's a struggle, but I'm so tired of just reading these novels that are about gay characters and only being about their coming out. Gay people have very rich and fulfilling lives that exist after they've come out. Like, can we please write more books about that, or can I at least find some more? Because I feel like all the books I ever find anymore are about them coming out or struggling with their sexuality, which is interesting, but I just love how normalized it was in this book. They're so cavalier about it, like, oh, my girlfriend broke up with me, and then it's just like you keep on reading. There's definitely some more emotional moments, and there's a lot of weight to this story, but it's definitely a comedy. It's one of the funnier books I've read in a while. I want to give this book 5 out of 5 stars, but there was one thing that really bothered me, is the fact that Emmy is biracial, and that's not really brought up until the last half of the book, so I had like one image of her in my head and then they totally changed it. Why? It felt like it was kind of like thrown in there at the end, like it didn't mean anything, or like it was being hidden. The girl on the cover of this is definitely blonde and white, and that's not what Emmy looks like, it turns out. And that bothers me. It's such a beautiful cover, but it doesn't really, it's not Emmy. That looks more like Charlotte from what I understand. So I wish they'd like been more forthcoming about that, because it's a really cool thing. She's biracial and she's gay. Like, she is just like all kinds of cool and interesting, and I wish that the cover reflected that and then we got to know her fully from the get-go. At the end of the day, it's a 5-star story, but because of that, I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!